Yo, what is up YouTube? Gray here, and today I've got our PPL Week 8 battle, I believe, against PaullyMac and the West Coast Wingulls. Breaking the fourth wall. This battle happened probably about 2 months ago, if not more. I've had a whole load of rendering issues, and like the entire NSTL and PPL seasons completely have disappeared from the channel. I think it's been about 2 months, and granted, I've been lazy, I've procrastinated, I've not really done things when I should have done. So I'm now here, like 2 months afterwards, trying to search for all these battles to get them done. What I might just do is put all of the NSTL videos into one big video, and the PPL videos, I don't have my week 9 against Ellie, but I can tell you that I lost that because I switched in my regular Venusaur on a Victini because I am smart. Also, Drifblim nearly reverse swept, but Pangoro was still alive. So, lost 2-0 to Ellie, then lost 2-0 again, I think, to Kyle. I think at that point I was already relegated, so it really wasn't the end of the world, and Kyle just needed to win one of his last 2 games to be champion, so I didn't prep amazingly for it. I kind of just threw a team together in like the last 5 minutes, and to be fair, he bought a wild Zygarde set, which was Camouflage, Extreme Speed, Coil, and 1,000 Arrows. Had my Drifblim in, and I clicked Destiny Bond, and Kyle forgot the mechanics of Destiny Bond and ended up killing himself the turn after with 1,000 Arrows. So, but we still lost 2-0, I believe, maybe 3-0. And then in the last week, we played Jack the Don Fanatic, and that was kind of a mean match, so we didn't really bring serious sets apart from Jack decided to bring a regular Mega Aerodactyl that just completely fucked my team. And yeah, it's a shame we don't have that video because it was actually quite a fun one. But anyway, the only battle that I can find anywhere on any platform available to me is the one against Paul, because I was smart enough to actually save it as soon as the battle finished. So yeah, don't expect me to really know what was going on, because I have no idea myself. Like, if I knew my thought processes from like 2.5 months ago, then that'd be great. But yeah, this battle will be a mess, but I have to upload this. Like, I want to upload as many battles as I can, and considering this is the only one I can find, then yeah, I'm just rambling. Let's get into the battle. I don't remember what his team is. My team was shit. I know that much. Like, I didn't really like my team at all when I took over from Colton, aka Shadow Gaming Hub. I didn't like my team. I made a couple of changes, but it was still kind of just meh. Like, Garchomp was my only hazard setter, and my only hazard removal that was kind of reliable was Mandibuzz. I didn't really want to use Starmie as a rapid spinner every week. Kyurem, does it get defog? I don't think it does. No. So yeah, like, my hazard removal and hazard setting options were still absolute trash after I made acquisitions, which was kind of hindsight for me as well. Sorry, I had defog Scizor as well, but again, defog is not ideal on Scizor, regular Scizor at least. But anyway, the team I decided to bring against Paul was Emboar, Mandibuzz, Garchomp, Starmie, Kyurem, and Sylveon. Off memory, I think it's a Choice Scarf Emboar, I want to say. A Scarfed Kyurem, running double Scarfers. Standard Fizdef, Mandibuzz. Spadef, Sylveon, I want to say. Specs, Analytics, Starmie. And then the coup de grace of this team, Garchomp, is Z Sandstorm, Swords Dance, Stone Edge, Earthquake. I remember that stat very clearly. Anyway, he bought Tornadus, Heatran, Mega Gallade, Druddigon, Primarina, and Crocodile. So yeah, his team is very, very scary. I kind of expected Primarina to maybe Scarf to outspeed my Emboar, not wanting to take the Wild Charge, because it would most likely OHKO unless it was really physically bulky, and I think even then it was like a roll. Everything else on his team, like, I can't remember what my team was or his team, so fuck knows what else he was going to bring. So yeah, let's just get into the battle. So I remember thinking that I didn't want to give any offensive pressure up straight away, because his team was very hyper offensive, and Starmie outsped everything except for a potential Scarfer or Tornadus. So it seemed like a fairly safe switch, and if it forced him to switch, nothing on his team wants to take a Specs analytic move from Starmie. The only thing to take Scold is Primarina, and Dredagon will still take like 40%. So Starmie was my lead, and unfortunately the one thing he leads with is Primarina. And here I could have very easily just pressed Thunderbolt and most likely taken it out, I think. Because it was Scarfed, it would have outsped, meaning my analytic would have gone off, and yeah, it would have just died. Why I didn't is beyond me. I, at the time, didn't realise that he didn't have a switch into a Scald, and this was his only real switch into my Starmie, and the damage for damage would have been worth it, because him losing Primarina means that late game Kyurem can just sweep. But yeah, I made a decision to go into my Spadef Sylveon. I can tell by that damage that I believe it was Scarf. I want to say it was Scarfed, I don't know. So here I was like, that did virtually no damage. After lefties, it did less than 20%. So he's not going to want to stay in and just let me wish up or toxic this Primarina, whatever he's going to do. So I'm going to make the offensive switch, expecting his Heatran, or yeah, Heatran was his best switch, and go into my Kyurem and see which move, see what item his Heatran was holding. However, he decides to stay in and gets a fuck ton of damage off on my Kyurem, and that is not pleasant. I did not enjoy that. That like kind of crippled my somewhat win con, I guess. It was very, very good against his team. Once the Heatran goes down, it can Heatran and Primarina go down, it can just spam Ice Beam all day and just wreck everything pretty much. But now it's down to a point where if he gets rocks up, I just can't really do anything. Like it's just pretty much useless at that point. So I'm going to switch out back into my Sylveon here, expecting him to want to go for another Moonblast. There is no reason to not. And sure enough, at this point, I'm sure he's choice logged. I think I calced it, and I'm fairly sure I calced it as Scarf. So I'm just going to wish up and get my Sylveon back at health. So I go for the wish here, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I could protect, but at the same time, like, I'm not going to die to the next Moonblast. I can just go for a Hyper Voice and get some damage off on this Primarina. If he decides to switch in to his Heatran as Air Balloon, then great, that pops his Air Balloon, and he's less willing to switch it in on things like Kyurem, or at least I can threaten him out with Kyurem. So yeah, I believe here I go for a Hyper Voice. As he does bring in the Heatran, reveals the balloon, and the Hyper Voice is going to pop it. It does literally no damage, but I will also get the wish back. I'm at a decent amount of health, and I had nothing for this Heatran particularly. Like, my team was somewhat offensive as well. I think my best switch really would have been Ember, but again, for some reason, I didn't even think, hey, why would he go for Earth Power when I still have Mandibuzz? He's going to expect the Mandibuzz to come in. I can go out into my Ember and just like do a massive amount of damage on something. But hindsight is 2020. Like, watching this battle back really makes me realise how badly I played. So yeah, he goes for Magma Storm, and that is bad news bears. So I'm now trapped in, and next turn he is going to reveal the Taunt, and I'm kind of fucked at this point because Mandibuzz is stuck in with literally no way of attacking other than Foul Play, which is going to do jack shit, and he's just going to Magma Storm me again and kill off my physical defensive mon. So down 5-6, I have to make the offensive switch into Kyurem, and here I expect the Primarina to come back out. I don't expect him to want to take an Earth Power. He's going to expect the Earth Power because I've got to play somewhat like offensively with this Kyurem. However, I am packing Toxic, and here I'm going to expect the Primarina to come in, and Toxicing it will be a really nice way of kind of crippling it. It puts it on a timer, and it can't just sit there and stall out my Sylveon anymore. So with that in mind, I go back into my Sylveon as he goes for Hydro Pump, and that does a little bit more damage. That's a little bit scary, especially as the Toxic is slowly going to whittle his Primarina down into range of Torrent, and at that point it's doing about 50% to my Sylveon. That's just yeah, it's not going to be fun once it gets into torrent range, but at least it's on a timer then, it can only get like 1 or 2 hits off. He goes back into his his Heatran, and here he goes for the big, powerful, non-stab Dragon Pulse, looking to assert dominance, I believe, on a Kyurem that he expected to come in. I take a fair chunk from Starmie, but like I said at the start of the battle, he has really nothing to switch into a Choice Specs analytic move, and even less so now that his Primarina is crippled. It's now sitting at, I believe, about 75% roughly. After a couple of Scalds, it's not going to appreciate it. So here I'm just going for a Scald. Whatever he goes for, or whatever he switches into, is going to be fine. So do I go Scald here? I do go Scald. And as you can see, that does 35% to a Primarina, which is absurd. Like, Starmie is so powerful. However, I don't want to stay in. Here, I believe I'm just going to sack off my Kyurem. No, sorry, I go back into my Sylveon. And the Hydro Pump is not going to be good next turn. I'm fairly sure I forgot about Torrent during the battle. So I was like, yeah, I can live at a 1 and just go for Wish. And of course, he's now in Torrent range and just takes out my Sylveon. It's not looking good. I am down both my walls and Kyurem is basically dead as well. However, I still have Emboar at max health, and I have Garchomp at max health, and that's huge. So I get back into English. I get back out into Starmie, and I'm going to just throw off another Scald. He goes out to Druddigon, and look how much damage this does. That's, what, 36% to a resisted Druddigon. Here I'm going to go out into my Kyurem. Now is the time, I believe, to sack it. And he is going to go for the Dragon Tail. Unfortunately, he misses. This kind of has a bit of an impact in the battle, because had my Kyurem gone down, then, well, to be fair, I would have gone back into my Starmie and just thrown off whatever, probably Ice Beam or something, which probably would have gone into either Primarina or Heatran. However, here he goes into the Heatran. I predict that, and I go for the Focus Blast, and, well, it's Focus Miss. So I'm just going to click it again, because I did think it was going to kill, I believe, when I was doing a battle. I was like, yeah, it's going to kill. If it's offensive, it just drops. And I think the damage from the Mandibuzz made me feel like it was offensive. However, it lived, and he's going to just kill me off with Dark Pulse. So, shame he didn't go for Dragon Pulse. If he had gone for Dragon Pulse, he would have got the non-stab Dragon kill. But I go back into my Starmie here, because, again, he has nothing for this, and he just lets his Heatran go down to a Scald. He has no reason to keep it anymore. And goes out into his Tornadus, and this is an issue. So, if he wasn't Specs, I lived. It was the only thing that would have killed me. However, hindsight's 20/20 again. Like, why would he have gone into his Tornadus if it wasn't going to kill? Like, he wasn't prepared to take the damage from a Specs Gold. So, yeah, it just kills my Starmie, and at this point, the battle is kind of done. However, I just need to, like, at this point, I got to play super aggressive. And my play here is just to try and set up with Garchomp and win. So, I need to apologies. I need to do a Z Sandstorm and then a Swords Dance to be able to kind of just tear through his team. Because at this point, I can go for a Stone Edge, but it won't kill. He also gets a free switch out into his Crocodile if he decides to go for that. I didn't really expect him to stay in. I wasn't 100% on that. Like, that was a 50-50 in my opinion. But obviously getting off the damage on a potential Seller Garchomp, which I'm fairly sure in his video he said he knew I would bring. So, yeah. My win condition here is to get off the Z Sandstorm, to get off the Swords Dance, and still be at full health, which would either mean him switching out, and then, like, I don't know, misplaying. I don't even know. Missing with Dragon Tail again, maybe. Or he just misses 2 Hurricanes. And as you can see, he's going to stay in, and he misses the first Hurricane. So we're halfway there. And I don't ever implore, like, hacks, but at the same time, my only win con was for him to miss 2 Hurricanes. So we're at +1 speed now. So we're going for the Swords Dance. He stays in, and he unfortunately does miss another Hurricane. So we are fully set up and ready to sweep. And I'm just going to click Stone Edge here. Like, I have no reason to try and predict. I've got to just kill this thing. It's about the only thing that can kill me at this point, outside of potentially Mega Gallade. So here he goes into his Crook, and as you can see, he switches back out into his Primarina. I had to Swords Dance again in this turn, because at 1.5 I didn't kill Mega Gallade. He would have let his Primarina go down, and then switch most likely into his Mega Gallade afterwards. So I had to be super aggressive. I had to go for the Swords Dance. If he had attacked with Crook, that would have been fine. Like, that honestly would have been absolutely fine, because there's nothing he could do that could take me out. So yeah, I had Swords Dance. Fortunately, he switches out into his Primarina, which just gives me a free secondary boost. And at this point, I pretty much won the game. Like, he can switch out into Crook twice, but when he switches out into Crook, I'm just going to Swords Dance again. And as you can see, he does go back out into his Crook. I'm now +2, which is still enough to take out his Mega Gallade. I kill the Crocodile, so at this point, he has lost the game effectively. I think it's a roll maybe on Earthquake on the Mega Gallade, if he's physically bulky. But yeah, those 2 misses on the Hurricane really sucked. Like, it completely changed the entire battle. And yeah, like, I don't know what to say. I think it was actually a Life Orb End Ball. That's why I didn't go out to it at any point during this, because everything else sped it. Like, that was a really bad bring on my behalf. But yeah, the Hurricane misses sucked. At the same time, like, it was a fairly hacksy battle in terms of moves missing. We did pick up the first win and the only win of the PPL season. We finished the season 1-10, so yay for fucking great records. Like, we won a game. That's all I care about. Like, the PPL is kind of like an entirely different world of competition compared to some leagues that I've been in. So to get a win makes me very happy, even though it's a very kind of a tainted win, I guess, so to speak, because like, hacks happened and it mattered. But yeah, GG to Paul. Paul's a really great guy, one good friend in this community. That sounds really like I have no good friends though. No, one of my good friends in the community, really good guy. If you don't know him, then why don't you know him, and why are you here? Because surely Paul's video is the reason you're here. Anyway, I'm rambling. So NSTL videos will go up at some point. I may decide to commentate them, I may not. See how I feel. If not, they'll go up in one big clump with just some music or something in the background. I may decide to upload all of them in one like massive clump as well, and then commentate and completely kill myself with just talking for like 2 hours straight probably. But anyway, there will be an update video going up shortly after this as well, just kind of letting you know what's going on in the future, what's happening with videos and stuff, because there will be much more content going up. But yeah, I'm going to end off the video because I'm chatting shit as I normally do at the end of videos. And yeah, I will see you guys in that update video. Peace.